Oh my goodness, you're here, and I'm still getting comfortable on my easy chair. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at the latest headlines about things happening in Mexico, in our state, in our city. And we take a look at your comments, ideas, questions, topics, suggestions, so that we can end up having a wonderful life here in Puerto Vallarta. As a community of English-speaking locals, it is a pleasure to get together with you every morning, except for Sundays. Yesterday was a beautiful day off. And as you know, if you are new to this broadcast, please feel free to let us know by writing the word new. Whoops, that's not the one that I meant to show. I meant to get rid of this one for the time being. If you are new to the broadcast, say new in your comments. If you have important things that you wish to share with us, please add a Q to your comment. And today I'm going to be asking for your thoughts and opinions on a couple of things so that we can talk about them during the second half of the broadcast. Today's news include a little bit of a COVID update, a little bit of a gay pride update. We have an update on the missing youngsters. They've come back home. We don't know much about them, but they're back home. We have news about a local Starbucks, which was shaded for not following the sanitary guidelines. And we have news about a new storm that is brewing on the Pacific. So let us get through these news items, and then we will talk about this, that, and the other as we usually do. We begin this week without an update from Governor Enrique Alfaro. The governor reported a lot of things on his Facebook page about vaccinations going on here, there, and everywhere throughout the states, which is good news, but there was no update on the COVID-19 numbers this week. However, we revisit the national COVID-19 stoplight, which shows that the state of Jalisco continues in the green zone until June 6th, and that is when it will be updated again. As we mentioned previously, Nayarit is in the yellow zone, while the only state in the orange zone in the entire country is Quintana Roo. Needless to say, we wonder if all the events related to the elections that will take place, the events that have taken place until now for the elections that will take place this coming week, along with the influx of tourism due to gay pride, will impact COVID-19 stats, and we hope that this is not the case. That said, I had the opportunity to see this firsthand. I was out and about in Emiliano Zapata this weekend for a couple of business things that I needed to do, and it is estimated that 15,000 tourists, approximately 15,000 tourists, came to Puerto Vallarta to celebrate Gay Pride this year bringing much needed prosperity to many businesses in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood. That said, and this is not meaning to shade the gay community or any community in particular, for me, I must say it was a little bit troublesome to walk down the sidewalks of Emiliano Zapata and see so many people without face masks. We know that things are going good in our state, but it is always somewhat distressing to see the number of people, and many of them seem to be visitors from elsewhere, and many of them seem to be visitors from other countries, just completely disregarding the local sanitary guidelines. I must confess that living in a part of Puerto Vallarta where there isn't that much density of people walking out and about, I found myself, when was it, on Saturday night, just crossing Las Altas and Basilio Vadillo, and I was just totally wigged out at the number of people that were out and about. I was so very happy to hop on my Uber when it was time to come home, and I felt safe once I got home. But on the one hand, you don't want to chastise anyone for doing what they're doing. And we've talked about this many times here at Coffee and Headlines. I mean, let's control the things that we can control. Let's take care of ourselves. But on the other hand, for all these people to be out and about without following the guidelines, should the numbers increase, should this affect our pandemic situation, the pandemic increase is not only going to affect those people, but it's going to affect all of us. All that said, I ask for your opinion. Please feel free to leave a comment. How are you feeling these days, if you are in Puerto Vallarta, about the regard or lack of regard of sanitary guidelines going on right now? Again, my intention is not to shade anyone, but I am curious as to where your mindset is compared to mine. So any response is a good response. I would love to just read your thoughts in the second half of the program. Moving on with our news, I want to let you know, as I mentioned before, that the state prosecutor's office announced that the 4 local young adults that went missing last week have returned home and are in good health. We reported a couple of days ago that the youngsters had gone missing since May 21st, and they were on their way to a party in Guadalajara. As is usually the case, no further details were provided, but we are ultimately happy to know that they are home safe and sound. One more. This is another one that I thought it was really funny. The Starbucks located across from Puerto Vallarta City Hall received a slap on the sanitary wrist for not following current guidelines, such as allowing too many people to sit outside and not limiting the number of people that can remain inside sitting down. The business is not closed. They just slapped this ginormous sticker on their door, which to me is really funny because I look at that and I figure, well, that's just a tiny little business. And I look at this and I say to myself, well, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about this. But again, if you are feeling like having a nice cup of coffee at a Starbucks, reconsider this one. And ultimately, the bottom line is every time we see a business, a place, a street, a sidewalk that feels like it's not safe enough, we all have the choice to just walk away and take another route, or drink coffee elsewhere. I don't know. And these are the news that we have before the weather. We'll continue with a couple of other things, but let us take a look at the weather, and then we'll continue with your comments. Okay, what do we have? Partly cloudy for the hour. That seems so tame. No. There you go. Snarky weather says, I sent some fresh spring pollen your way. I hope you don't have allergies. Well, if that is the case, I'll be sniffling all afternoon. Right now, we have 28 degrees. So that would be Celsius. It feels like 30. Humidity is high at 68%. Our temperature in Fahrenheit is 82. And we start the week with a humid and partly cloudy day, high temperature of 31, low temperature of 24. Tomorrow, Tuesday, it will be humid and mostly cloudy through the day with a high temperature of 32, and a low temperature of 24. And Wednesday, we can expect a humid and mostly cloudy day with a high temperature of 31, low temperature of 23. And that would be our weather. Moving on with a couple of other headlines, I want to introduce you to Blanca. Blanca is, as announced by the National Weather Service, is the second tropical storm of the season. In their most recent update, they stated that the storm formed south of Manzanillo in the state of Colima, and it is expected that it will continue on a northbound path towards Baja California. And of course, it is too soon to determine whether it will bring any rain to coastal cities along Mexico's Pacific coast or not. Needless to say, we've been anxiously waiting for some rain to hit our city. We all would love to be refreshed. And of course, our plants, our trees, our forests, our hills are desperately wanting to be fed some precious water. And I have one more news item that I want to share with you. This one puzzles me somewhat, as it's probably due to my own ignorance. And if you have any comments about this, I would very much welcome them. According to Luis Villaseñor from Puerto Vallarta's Tourism Bureau, flights from Canada will resume this coming June 5th. However, this news item does not specify which airlines are going to be flying from Canada, which leads me to wonder if Canada had suspended all flights bound for Mexico due to the pandemic and only allowing passengers to come to Mexico by way of connecting flights. If this is the case, again, I am ignorant about these matters, and it's nice to know that direct flights are coming back. If there are any folks from Canada in our cluster today that would like to clarify or comment on this, that would be very much welcome so that we can all be on the same page. And with this, we wrap our formal news for the broadcast. Now, I would like to very diligently rewind our comment tape here and take a look at your hellos, which are always wonderful to read. Oh, I love that. Trucha says, happy 420. Well, that's a great way to start the week. Thank you. Jill made it through the weekend thanks to Sunday Dim Sum at Bonito Kitchen. Sunday Dim Sum is still on my list. I hope to get to do that at some point. Let's see. And then Trucha corrects himself, saying, I meant Monday. I love it. I love it. Paco and Luna, chase away the Monday blues. Raymond, don't be blue. Let me try to chase away the blues for you with my kazoo. Okay, that's about as good as we're going to get today. I hope you feel a little happier. Margaret says, happy birthday, Puerto Vallarta. That's correct. Today is the day in which we celebrate our city's anniversaries as a city, as a foundation of a city, and as a foundation of a municipality. Raymond's doing better already. You dim some, you lose some. Seriously. Love it. Craig reports from Beers, Boys, and Burgers at Hotel Mercurio yesterday. Great fun. That's good to hear. Awesome. Congratulations, Dale. She is now a new grandma in the middle of the night to a baby granddaughter. How beautiful. That's wonderful. A report from our friend Mijal. I finally got the time changing. My brain waited yesterday to see you all. A few minutes later, I realized it's Sunday. Well, yes, this quarantine has me not knowing what day it is. Happy to be here on day 6. I am so glad that you're settling into your Canadian season, and I hope you guys will be coming back soon. I miss you. Kathleen was in Guadalajara. So happy to be home in gorgeous PB. Highly recommend a cultural tour in the historic district. Finally saw the building where the Philharmonic plays. Beautiful. So happy to hear that you guys went to Guadalajara. Envious, but happy. I'm so glad you guys went. I love Guadalajara, and every time I get a chance to go, I like to go. Needless to say, we haven't been traveling at all, and Guadalajara is probably one of the first places that I'm going to go back to as far as larger cities are concerned. Starbucks isn't sanitary. Shocked, says Dave. I love that. Absolutely. Let's see what else we have. Doug wishes everybody a happy Monday. That's wonderful. I wish everybody a great week. Let's see what else we have. Padim pam 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 pam. More congratulations for Dale. All the fun, spoiling, and none of the responsibility. I would like to be a grandfather just for that. But Luna, she's not putting out because she had her engine removed. Let's see. Matthew says that Cancun has gone back to curfews. Don't take things for granted. That resonates a little bit, Matthew, along with what I was talking about earlier about what's going on in Puerto Vallarta. Kathleen makes a comment about most people wearing face masks and businesses following guidelines in Guadalajara City. I can respect that and appreciate that. Let's see what else we have. When I was down in October, about 10% of tourists were wearing masks. It was shocking, and the reason I stayed at my hotel the rest of the week. I tell you, Trucha still won't eat or drink inside. Angelo staying away from crowds, especially when everybody's drinking. Alan asks, don't vaccinations necessitate use of mask in outdoor settings? Vaccinations protect you, but as far as I understand, you can still carry the virus and infect other people. So I think there are a lot of people navigating with this notion that, well, I've been vaccinated, I'm invincible, I don't have to wear masks, whether I am in Mexico, Switzerland, or Indonesia. And that is the kind of attitude that really fries my noodles. But don't get me started. Dave comments, the lack of face masks has been horrendous all winter, only accelerated by the number of people here for Pride, a total shit show, but I think to myself, at least I have my vax. That's kind of my sentiment. But again, I mean, my challenge with that, and this is the part that bugs me, is that let's say that, remember, Semana Santa happened, and we were all concerned about the numbers after Semana Santa, and the numbers were fine. Thank God. Fingers crossed. So in 2 weeks, we'll see the numbers from Pride and also from all the electoral campaigning that has been going on. And if the numbers are fine, it'll be, woof, good news. But if the numbers have increased, whether you're vaccinated or not, you're still not going to be allowed, if we go back to a more cautious state, we're still not allowed to go do this. And we're not allowed to go do that. And that's the part that I'm not entirely happy with. Alex says, party as hard as you like. You show up to another country and extend no regard for the health of the locals, their families, and their businesses. You are an asshole, period. Alex, I couldn't agree with you more wholeheartedly. And it is behavior like that draws me to draw some kind of a line here at Coffee and Headlines between focusing our content on English-speaking locals and disregarding sometimes the touristy questions or touristy interactions that go on here. I mean, I'm going to put it out there. We don't care. We as in me, as in Luna and I, we don't care much about tourists. Sorry. Not in this context and not here at Coffee and Headlines. And we will continue to pay much more attention and respect and support for those of us and those of you that consider yourselves locals in one level or another. Mike says, I have seen it so much, I am sort of numb to it. I just take action myself and remove myself from those situations, which at times seems very unfair. My sentiments exactly. I am so relieved to hear that we are on the same place. Jill feels sad, and you feel sad about what we're talking about, Jill. It is sad. It is really sad. If you feel sad about something else, I can do the kazoo again and maybe help out in any way I can. Um, let's see what else we have. Boom, bam, boom, bam, boom. Ricardo, personal concierge PV. This is the show I told you about. I love it. We've been talked about. Safer to stay away from downtown. Lots of entertainment everywhere else. That is my mindset. I now, plan on doing my outings to the tourist areas of the city maybe once a week, and then I'm so happy to be out of that neighborhood and back here in Versailles and La Vena, where I feel much more safe. Um, Angelica comments, when I look Facebook and what is going on in PV, looks like PV is not in a pandemic because I don't see people wearing masks. It's like nothing has happened. Well, again, I keep wondering about Mexico not jumping into a third wave of the pandemic. And, I'm not trying to be pessimistic here, but I sure hope that is not the case. I sure hope we're not going to jump into another one of those um, um, quarantine situations. Betsy chimes in. It was a challenge walking my dog this past week. No masks and huge groups of people crowding our busted sidewalks in Emiliano Zapata. Yeah, I totally hear you, Betsy Ann. All we can do is, change neighborhoods or walk a different way. And, because even shading people, it also becomes exhausting. Um, let's see what else. Lee Stivers leaves us a lengthy comment. I'm going to put it on the screen. Vaccinated but highly aware that most are not. I mask indoors always except when dining. When outside and anywhere close to others, I mask. But I am not too concerned about what others are doing. If I am outside and well distanced from others, I take off my mask. Same here. I am extremely thankful that I have been able to spend many pandemic months in Vallarta, where it has been relatively easy to stay safe and follow practices to keep others safe. Completely agree with you, Lee. We have it so much better than many other places in the world, but having it so much better is also a privilege that can be easily taken away by those people that disregard sanitary airlines, even if we choose to stay away from them. If things get fucked up again, it won't only affect those people, it'll affect all of us. Um, Oh, okay. The airline suspended direct flights only due to low payload, not the government's rules. Thank you very much for that, Jill. Again, I mentioned one more time, I am ignorant of those things. But how good that um, there is now an increase of people that want to fly down. Again, let us hope that when they do so abiding by the local guidelines. Um, John comments on the passing of Jeffrey Sanker. Yes, he passed away over the weekend from cancer. He was the guy hosting those big parties at Mantamar during the middle of the pandemic. I am aware of his passing, and he was a very esteemed person, and I had known that he was ill for some time, and it is unfortunate that the disease took the best of him. Again, I'm choosing not to comment on those parties just because they already happened and they will continue to happen, and there's only so much one can do about that. Thank you for this, Lynn. More comment about strict travel advisory in Canada, so domestic flights have been canceled for several months. I travel via Seattle from Vancouver. Okay, well, now you're going to be able to fly directly, which is a good thing. Um, D adds in regarding your comments on the protocols. I agree with you. I believe it is irresponsible and disrespectful by visitors from not just international but also nationals in another community. Absolutely agreed. Missed the first part of the show. Rain is still in question or coming. Love this show. Anna, when you miss the first part of the show, all you have to do is wait for the show to be over and you can start watching it from the beginning. Let's see what else we have. Bim bim bum bum bum. La 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 la. Regarding the flights from Canada, if be waiting and seeing What comes of the meeting of the Canadian health ministers later this week? Considerations for vaccinated people and those who have recovered and might have antibodies complex problem. Okay. I don't know what to add to that other than the fact that there are flights coming up. Um, let's see. Let's see. Why are most restaurant waiters in Mexico men? Curious about that. Well, Kathleen, that is for us to have something nice to look at. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that most restaurant waiters in Mexico are men. That's not necessarily my perception, um, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I've seen a lot of women waiters here, there, and everywhere, and I don't mind looking at the men waiters. Uh, let's see. Da-dee-da-da-da-da. Clay says, two of my friends from Texas visited for Pride and were shocked at the people they saw not wearing masks, both foreigners and locals. They wore their masks, went out, and people stared at them like they were being ostracized. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, those of us that continue to abide by the rules, sooner or later, we are going to become the victims of shaming. And that is so freaky. So freaky. Let's see. What else? Uh, 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 uh. uh. Looking at all your comments. Oh, yeah, that's right. Gabby Mclaude also died as well. He was the captain of the Love Boat, which, and BJ Thomas passed away as well. Hooked on a feeling, raindrops keep falling on my head. So sad. What do you think about the Versailles Gourmet Strip project? I have not heard of a project called that. I know that there is a project called La Versailles, which is a marketing project that promotes a select number of Versailles restaurants. I know that here at Coffee and Headlines, we have our own map called Versailles for Foodies. What do I think about Versailles having gourmet restaurants in general? I think it's great because for those of us that do not live in Emiliano Zapata and don't care much about Emiliano Zapata for it being so touristy, it is great. It is great to have such a wonderful choice of restaurants over here on this side of the city. I couldn't be happier, and let us enjoy it as long as it lasts because sooner or later it'll get so crowded and sophisticated as the tourist zone, Emiliano Zapata, and we are going to have to go hide somewhere else. Um, and I think we've reached the end of your comments. And my only remaining question, and this is just a general question, is what can we do? I mean, needless to say, all we can do, as far as I can see, is continue to take care of ourselves, continue to encourage our friends and loved ones to take care of themselves and to have them follow the guidelines. It is trying to encourage people we don't even know, stopping people on the street, shaming people out and about. That is a draining of energy that I certainly don't recommend to anyone. I think we are, for the most part, on the same page. The best thing we can do is avoid situations in which we feel uncomfortable as far as the guidelines are concerned. So I hope that we will continue to do that on our own. We will continue to do that as a community. John has a great suggestion. Continue to drink wine. I will drink to that, but not yet. I'm still sticking to my iced coffee, freshly brewed. And these are the news for today. Again, I hope that this week will fly by. Oh, two important reminders. One having to do with the election, which takes place this coming weekend. Please remember that there will be dry law, which means you won't be able to buy booze on probably between Friday and Sunday. Bars will be closed because bars will not be allowed to operate. And restaurants may be allowed to serve alcohol with a meal, as it has happened last year. But speaking of drinking wine, make sure that you stock your pantry before Thursday, because of the electoral weekend that we have ahead of us. And number two, this has to do with membership here at Coffee and Headlines. Please remember, I received a couple of emails this weekend, and I want to make sure that we're all in the same place. When you buy coffees, that's a one-time affair. When you choose to support Coffee and Headlines, which we very much appreciate, either on a monthly or an annual basis, you will be billed automatically every month or every year according to what you chose to do. So just be mindful of that. If you feel like for whatever reason you choose not to support Coffee and Headlines anymore, we won't hold it against you. Just kidding. We won't hold it against you, but make sure that you cancel before you get billed. And that is all the announcements that we have, and that's the show. I thank you as always for joining us, and I hope that we will all have a healthy, prosperous, happy, safe week. And I hope you'll stay in touch as always. Have a great time, and hopefully I'll get together with you again soon. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and you know what that means? It's Taco Tuesday. Between now and then, have an awesome day.